If there's a question, you can. I think Nageshwar Rao, you've raised your hand. If in case you need to ask a question, you can please unmute yourself. If there's anyone else, you can do that. But the first thing I'd like to ask Rohan is there a dish that challenges you?
A dish that challenges me. So I can go up to this one, to the one on the top left. It's a crab ceviche wrapped in avocado. This was very, very hard to make because the unique thing about this dish is it's supposed to be very visually stunning. I mean, obviously it has the taste very good as well, but getting the perfect pattern of the avocados was very, very hard because you need to be able to cut the avocado, very precisely. It can't be too thick, otherwise you won't be able to roll it up into a roulade. It can't be too thin, otherwise it won't be able to hold the content of the ceviche. So that was very, very, very hard. Another one that still challenges me today is creme brulee. It takes so long to make, from the custard to baking it in a water bath for 2 hours to perfectly creating the sugar coating on top of it. So it is very, very hard. I still have not been able to master it yet, hopefully soon. But yeah, those off the top of my head are two dishes that challenge me, like I find very, very difficult.
And what about the Indian dishes that you really appreciate?
I love cooking. Also, I guess, that's a question. Yeah,
I think I share the question with Gopalji.
Yeah,
right.
So I love to cook Indian food. Some of the dishes I love to cook are, as I said in the bottom left corner, chaat. Then there's also like mutton curry, chicken tikka masala, paneer tikka. Then I try to create my own curries as well. Being from South India, I try to incorporate coconut milk into the dishes I cook, dishes I make. Yeah, those are just some of the Indian dishes that I cook. The picture on the top right corner, it's a dish inspired by India from all the wonderful spices such as cardamom, cloves. So it's actually a lobster cooked in a red pepper curry oil. So it's glazed with red peppers and all the fragrant spices from India like saffron, cardamom, fenugreek seeds. So it's a very fragrant dish. Yeah, those are just some of the dishes off the top of my head.
Yes. Good evening, sir. Excuse me.
Yeah. Please. Yes, Nageshwar ji, please.
Good evening, both of you and all the educators who are present here. The main purpose of living also roti, kapada or makan, and we are talking about the dishes making very nice, very kind taste it is, and many people like the dishes and they eat mindfully. Mindful eating is missing nowadays. Just they sit in front of TV or a mobile or something else. They can talk, but not on the phone or on the TV or some other thing. But mindful eating means the 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you are eating, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you should eat mindfully. At the same time, it should be prepared very deliciously. Then we can have the taste what we are eating, how much we are eating. So you are great. You have chosen a nice job of what you call dishes making and all, right? How to pronounce this word?
Sorry, which?
Some people call it one way, some people call it another way. What is the correct pronunciation?
For which word exactly?
That word which relates to the restaurant where we go, like
cuisine. Is it cuisine?
Yes, cuisine.
Cuisine.
Fine. Thank you so much. Very kind of you.
Yeah, thank you for your comments. Thank you very much.
So maybe you could tell us the best breakfast for students.
The best breakfast for students. I mean, would it be vegetarian or non-vegetarian? Because I'm a non-vegetarian.
I think you can use both.
So, I mean, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So I would, I personally, I have a very big breakfast. So I try to avoid, the sugar, like the cereals packed with sugar. I find that that's not very healthy. That doesn't fill me up. For me, I usually have, toast with eggs, a glass of milk, maybe some like healthier cereal like cornflakes or something like that. Or I mean, there's obviously at home, because as I mentioned before, I'm from Kerala. I think breakfast like idli or sambar, dosa, appam, putta. That's all very very good. It fills you up as well. It fills me up, to say the least. Then I'm motivated to continue the day. I don't feel so hungry. It wakes me up as well because in the morning. I won't lie. I'm a very slow starter, so it's able to wake me up, and then I'm ready to. I have enough energy to get me through the first half of the day at least. I think just making sure that, especially for students, making sure that your breakfast is packed with nutrition and substantial, like it fills them up, is very very important.
Yeah, that's nice. But you may have realized that you've only mentioned South Indian dishes. You skipped the North Indian ones.
Yeah.
What is your favorite dish? Your favorite dish first?
My favorite dish would probably be butter chicken. I love butter chicken. It's full of
Nice, nice.
oil.
Vegetarian?
Sorry, vegetarian dishes probably bangan butter. I love
Oh,
that.
Bagane fine. So, Charles, sir, yours?
Oh, I have numerous. I'm a foodie. Yeah, that's why I'm enjoying this place, and it's nice to have the slide. In fact, the slide makes me more hungry, so you can see that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I,
Very
I have
good.
various dishes that I like, and I think I go in for turkey and lobster also at times. Yeah, Nandita, madam, please unmute yourself. I'm sorry. Yesterday, I read out your question. Nandita Roy, madam, please. You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Charles. The thing is that, of course, with amidst all this mouth-watering discussion that is going on, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But I would like to ask Rohan, what message would you give to parents, especially because you are one of those lucky fellows who've got the opportunity to follow your passion? And this is something which, as a teacher, I always face. Parents do not think that these things can also, establish somebody, establish an individual. When you talk about sports, you talk about music, you talk about cuisine, or you talk about whatever, there is a tendency of most parents, obviously not all, of most parents to take it as secondary. These cannot be careers. It is always into being a doctor and an engineer first, and then whatever is left over, you can take it up. It's like that. So, what message would you give to the parents to kind of change their mindset as to, try out things which probably their children are actually good at, but is often overlooked?
I think as I said before, it's very
So,
important to.
Rohan, can you just take down your slide if you don't mind?
Oh, sure. Um,
Thank you.
so as I mentioned before, I think it's very important to follow your passion. I gave you the example of my mom trying to make me learn the piano. I absolutely hated it. Like it just wouldn't work. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to this. I was very lucky that my parents never really forced me to do like anything that I didn't want to. I think maybe a question you could ask the parents is, how would I mean, obviously in a very very polite way, how would you like it if I obviously forced you to follow a certain career path, or follow or like play a certain sport, or pick up a certain hobby you did not enjoy? Would you be interested in doing it? Would you like put your heart and soul into it? Of course not, because you don't enjoy it at the end of the day. Right? So I think that is probably something you could ask them. Like, make them step into their child's shoes for a minute. Do they really enjoy that? If they really enjoy, for example, if a parent's child is playing tennis and they thoroughly enjoy it, right? It's only going to motivate them, to take it to the next level, maybe become a state level player, a national player, right? But if they hate playing tennis, for example, and they're just doing it as a chore, do you think they're really motivated to, take it to the next level? I wouldn't think so. I think that's where it comes down to. And I'll be brutally honest, like, yeah, maybe becoming a chef is, maybe not seen, especially in India, it's not seen as, maybe the best career path. I from personal experience, I was gonna tell my grandma I wanted to be a chef, but it was probably not the best idea. My mom, advised me not to. But if you look at it now, chefs are probably the most sought after career path. Apart from making very good money, they're able to follow their passion. Become very successful, become very famous. And I think that at the end of the day, you need to first find your own passion, find your own hobby. And once you, really enjoy doing it, you're only going to be motivated to take it to the next level. That's how I would put it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I mean, just now, like on second thought, I mean, in schools, I was lucky that in my school, we had a variety of different extracurricular activities to choose from, which allowed students to explore that passion. I think if you could, somehow build it into the curriculum to, try maybe, I don't know, offer different sports activities or anything, just to, allow your students to become more adventurous. I think that would be very beneficial as well.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful. And we have a question. Although we're running out of time, but we'll take that question by Arun. I'll read it out. Engineering has a very broad spectrum. Is it possible to identify which branch of engineering can integrate with biology to change the environment, and which professions are likely to dominate in the next 30 years or so? Your take on that?
Yeah, so I think it's actually bioengineering that's going to be very exciting, and that for example, new materials, nanoscience, nanotechnology. These are areas that directly impinge on many of the ways in which we're going to integrate biology and engineering. So training in basic chemical engineering, for example, or mechanical engineering might become the first steps towards working in areas like this. You'll also have lots of programs even at the BTech or undergraduate level, which are directly in bioengineering and biotechnology and so forth. But they will all draw on various engineering disciplines. Obviously computational, but also electronics, chemical engineering, nanotechnology, new materials. These are all the exciting areas that one should be looking at when you think about career planning.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And I think we've come to the end of our session. It was really wonderful hearing you. And I was just thinking, it will be. I don't think it will be very long when we'll have the perfect human being and then all perfect persons on this planet. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I think we have to be a little careful about that. So in fact, that is one of the ethical issues of whether these technologies should be really used for changing traits, right? So in fact, one of the Chinese biologists working in gene editing tried to do that a couple of years ago, and he's in prison right now, because he engineered the embryos, the DNA in the embryos, and did an in vitro fertilization where a pair of twin children were born with engineered DNA. And in some sense, he said he had improved their uh, their ability to resist HIV, which he claimed was the clinical explanation, but in the process he had also engineered them to be, in some sense, have better mental capacity. So these types of experiments are frowned upon. I mean, I think to some extent, it's inevitable that the species will try to progress by all means, but we have to be careful because these things can have some terrible side effects as well. So there are, I think the scientific community has to self-regulate. If not, they can really create a lot of problems and not solve the big challenges ahead. So it's a double-edged sword.
Thank you. And I think self-regulate is the note on which we'll end this session. And thank you so much for being with us.
Sure.
Professor, you gave us an enlightening time. You opened our minds to things we never thought of, I think, as educators. So it was really very wonderful. Thank you once again for giving us your time. I would also like to thank all our audiences for being here with us, and I'm sure you've enjoyed yourself. Tomorrow we'll be there once again at 5 p.m. with another round of speakers. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, everyone. Good night. God bless.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
And thank you, Charles.